small little segment on business meetings, awkward situations, and how to try to prepare yourself as you're in and navigating through these environments. Sometimes it may be just taking your kids to a birthday party. It may be going to a school ceremony and being around other people who want to ask you questions about who you are and what you do. But we're going to try to focus more so on the business aspect, on how you go to your meet and greets and how you navigate in those environments. My name is Alton, and this is Anthony.
How's it going?
So, Anthony, when you go to a business meeting, what are some of the things that, or business meet and greets? We want to say business meet and greets. What are some of the things that really runs through your mind days before?
Um, I would say it's all about the preparation, um, who I'm going to see, what kind of establishment, and the expectation. Like, what am I going to gain from that going into the meeting? Uh, if it's high class, do I need to wear a certain outfit? Do I need to bring material, or if it's more of a laid back environment? That really goes into the preparation. Speech is part of that. Uh, a lot of different things, but mainly of preparing myself and how people are going to look at me when I walk into that environment.
Well, another thing I would ask is a lot of times for me, I'm looking in the mirror, going over and over, asking questions myself like, hey, uh, who is Alton? What will other people see? What do I speak to them about? What can I talk about? What information do I give them? And it runs through my head over and over again. I will listen to different people's tips on how to do it. They say you to look in the mirror and look at yourself and give you these preppy looking faces and stuff like that. Your facial expressions change people's perception of you. So a lot of times I have to look at that because I'm quick. If somebody do something weird, I'm giving that face, and it may be a turnoff to some people. So I'm doing a lot of prepping, face prepping in the mirror. So what are some of the tips you would tell people before you go? It's go time. You got your clothes. It's business casual. What would be some of the things you're talking to yourself about before you even get to you're in the car? You're in the car at this point.
So, uh, first thing for me is, I say a prayer. That's my first thing that I do. Um, Clear my mind and ask God to put the right words into my heart, into my mind, and to not let anything distract me from what I'm there to do. And then the second thing would be is to not look at it from a sales pitch, but what can I offer them that they don't have? You think of a lot of the businesses and business owners, they're always approached by someone that's trying to sell you something. And you have to be new and refreshed when you go talk to them. Hey, my name's Anthony. This is what I can do for you at no cost, just to get yourself in. Because establishing a friendship, or even letting them know that hey, you're on the same level. You're trying to do what they're trying to do, and we can collaborate instead of me selling you something and say, here, buy this from me and let me make money off of you.
That's a good point. I like that how you articulated that of basically telling yourself what can I bring to the table and how can I help in the congregation of the whole process and not trying to sell something. I mean, I think a lot of times people are trying to sell something. We're being sold every day. On everything we do is being sold for something every day. Everything's a brand, everything's a sponsor, and I think that we get outside of the human side of it. Just there's a bunch of human beings sitting in the room, and we're all trying to get along and get to know each other because we don't know each other. And I can't really get into a business conversation with you if I don't even know you.
Right.
So relationships really help, and I'm glad you brought that point out. A lot of times you think about elevated pitches. So you're doing the elevated pitches. You're talking about, hey, my name is this. This is what I'm doing. This and that. For example, for me, it's my name is Alton. I'm a part of an organization called Pivot Point Marketing with us. This is what we offer, blah, blah, blah. And we talk about different things. And I try to engage them in conversations of what they do and how I may or may not be a partnership with them, or how I can help other people be a partnership. I'm very good with um, bringing people together. I have a knack for it. I feel that a lot of times that's a gift that God's given me, that I can bring people together, no matter if it's about business or just friendships. And if it doesn't work out, that's not my part.
Yeah.
My part is just to get them in the conversation together. So that's a good tip. Now you're in the building and you're having a conversation with people. Do you start a conversation with handshake? Do you smile? What is the kind of things you do when you're in the building now? So people are coming up speaking to you. Somebody may give you a head nod. Somebody may look at your name tag. Hey, how you doing, Anthony? What are some of the things you start to do when somebody engages you?
So I'm old school when it comes to that. I am, eye contact, handshake, being very polite and engaging, no matter if it's male owner or a woman that's an owner. I'm very engaging when I'm talking to them. I could have no clue what their business is, and it might not even be something that I can help or gain anything from. But I just feel that them knowing that I'm listening and active listening and active engaging, or like, oh, so you do construction? Well, where are you from? When did you start? uh, Kind of those questions, those follow-on questions, until I can find something that I can relate to and then add value to the conversation. I might not be able to, but at least they know that, oh, Anthony was a great person. He was nice and polite and very respectful, and that might carry on to another opportunity.
So while we're engaging in this conversation with about, in business and talking, what are some of the things in your background that's probably helped you a little bit to engage in people? Was it, church groups, military, family? Father could have been one of those people that was like, hey, you will talk to people this way. My father was big on when you talk to a man or you talk to anyone, you look them in the eye. Very big on that. He always pushed the point of looking somebody in the eye when you have a conversation. My mom was always about enunciating your words and speaking loud, making sure that people hear you. Being in the military, we've always been thrown into situations where you didn't have any prep time. It was, hey, you're going to speak, and this is what you're going to speak on, and these people are listening to you. Yeah. And they're listening to every word you say because they're buying in on what you're saying. If you're wrong or right, they're still buying in what you're saying. Yeah. So what are the things that in your lifetime you felt like helped you, propelled you to this point now when you're going to those meetings that gives you a little bit of an edge over most of the people that's there?
First thing I would say is my parents taught me how to understand who I'm talking to. The conversation that I would have with you would be different than a conversation that I'd have with another individual that doesn't know me. I could be more relaxed and not as cautious with my words and my vocabulary, and not trying to sound that I'm the biggest person in the room or the smallest person in the room. Meshing my verbiage into what fits in. The second thing would probably been being in the church. I've had to talk in front of a lot of people, and there's a lot of different people that went to my church, so I kind of understood that not everyone's from the same background as me, and that helped as well. The military, of course, hands down, 20 years of being everywhere, different across the world, understanding that my culture is not the only culture. So taking a step back, listening to the environment, and understanding that a handshake might not be the best method of communication. It might just be a head nod or a kind gesture. That might be the first way of approach. But I think all those small things have kind of led me to be able to fit the situation.
So we're in the room. That's a good point that you put out. We're in the room. You're already engaging with people. So now you're talking to somebody that really that y'all have nothing in common. It happens. And the two of you going back and forth and the group is there. How do you, what are some of the things you use to try to transition and go speak to someone else or get a break, go get you coffee or something else to try to minimize your conversation, get your thoughts together? What are some of the things you do as a transition point? I would say for me, a lot of times I would may say, it's nice speaking to you. Let me go over here and talk to Phil. And I may not even know who Phil is. Oh, I'd love to get back with you again. Can I get your business card? Um, in a later date, we can have a conversation in a different setting. I may say, if this is not looking at what you're doing, I may have a friend of mine, so can I get a card for you and move on to something else? Because it's not just that I don't have no interest in them, just not at this time. So, what are some of the things that you use to transition?
I definitely say the business card is probably the best one. It's win, lose, or draw. You give your business card, even if it's like for me, I own a window tinting company, and let's say
Cool
that
deal.
the person I'm talking to is a hairstylist, and she does work from home, or she could be a mobile hairstylist. We might not have anything in common, but if I give that individual a business card and someone else might need it later, yeah, that conversation didn't become fruitful, but it could sow a seed into something else. So I definitely think the business card is the way to go. Like, hey, and sometimes it's best to be blunt, like people like directness depending on who you're talking to. So it's okay to say, hey, we're having great conversation, but there's so many people out here that might be better for both of us. And maybe we pull somebody else in and work together to kind of conquer the room, essentially. So it just depends on who I'm talking to. If it's an older gentleman or a seasoned person, I might be a little bit respectful. Like, hey, I have to use the restroom, or hey, man, that donut looks good. I'm going to go try out that the food, or hey, would you like some water? I'll go get you a water, and kind of just respectfully leave. But if it's a peer that's kind of someone of the same age, we might be able to collaborate and hey, let's pull somebody else in. Or hey, that's a nice dress. Hey, what's your name? And then bring that person over to the room or to the area.
Good transition. Transition really helps in all days in life. Sometimes you have a conversation with people that just doesn't work out, and you have to have a way to transition. It is not easy. It's not easy because a lot of us don't want to hurt each other's feelings, but we want to move on to something else because the conversation may be boring or the conversation is not leading anywhere. So, what are some of the things you use as a follow up? You want to get in touch with people later on. You want to let them know that you really appreciate talking to them. I've used the method of getting everybody's card and then emailing them later and say, hey, thank you for talking to me. I bring in the things that we talked about. I try to take a mental note. Sometimes I even bring a 3x5 cards and talk about, hey, this is what I talked to this person about. So I can put it back into the conversation because some people talk to 20 people, 30 people a day. They're not going to remember the conversation you had unless you reference something that y'all talked about. And I know that you're good with coffee, so tell people about that way of your follow-ups. Coffee.
So the coffee, I realize that everyone loves free coffee, and if you say, hey, let's schedule a coffee meet and greet, I pay for it. The business is paying for it, but it's an opportunity to get them out of their comfort zone. You're getting yourself out of your comfort zone. You're meeting in a neutral. So there's no shield, there's no wall. Everyone loves a coffee shop, a local one preferred. And then you meet up and just kind of, hey, yeah, I loved our conversation the other night or the other day. I want to continue that, but more on a one-on-one setting, and see what that transpires. I also believe that I have not had great success with emails, and I know I get at least 20 to 30 emails, and I don't respond to all of them. So if I know that a business owner has an establishment, I would love to, go to their establishment and say, hey, is, this person there? I met them the other day, and I just wanted to stop by and say hi. And then you show up, and they're like, oh, I didn't expect to see you, because a lot of people, they say all these things, but they don't come through and say, oh, yeah, I'm going to come by. And when you do show up, it kind of puts a smile on their face, like you really said what you were going to do.
I totally agree with you on that. Coffee's not for everybody, but coffee meetups are very good. And going to the establishment, that's a good tip too. I'm very fond of trying to keep people's names, especially if they're an impactful person. Some people just not impactful. They can speak to you and you be like, "What's your name again? What's your name again?" Because something about what they said or how they presented themselves at that present time, maybe in a group setting, didn't work. A lot of people don't like group settings. Some people like the one-on-ones. It works for them. They can be more intimate in the sense of the conversation. When you're talking to people with in a group, they can get caught up in translation, and then they can get caught up in being distracted by other people, and now they don't really hear what you're saying anyway. So I agree with you. Going to the establishment brings a little bit of something to let them know that, hey, I'm still interested. I'm still here. I think I think honestly, it's almost like, I hate to put it in a reference. Business is almost like dating. You gotta give because you want to get to a point where you're like a yin and yang, and that person seeks you just like you seek them, and the energy has to be there. So I can agree with that portion. Now we talked about tips of going and preparing yourself before going. We talked about the processes of when you get there, handshakes and all this and everything. What's an unsuccessful business meeting and greet, in your opinion?
Unsuccessful. All right, so I would definitely say going to an event, going into a corner, not saying anything, not getting any cards, and then leaving without anyone knowing that you were ever there. That is definitely an unsuccessful event, and that was my.
What if they think that's like reading the room? What if that's they're introvert? How do you? I'm listening. It's like how do they do that?
So I can speak for experience because that was my very first one, and I felt like I did not gain. I wasted the gas to go there. You know, usually there's a fee depending on if there's refreshments and stuff there. So what did I pay for? If I didn't, yeah, I got the experience, great. I learned about it, great. But I did not gain anything from that. I didn't even talk to the organizer of the get together and say, hey, thanks for the invite, to let them know that I appreciate them allowing me to be there. So at least at a bare minimum, you know, if there's the individual that choreographed and brought the whole thing together, hey, thanks for inviting me. Let me know when there's the next one. So they know, like, hey, Anthony showed up and he thanked, you know, he was happy to be there. So that's what I would say.
I can totally agree with you. I mean, getting to know people while you're in the room. Sometimes reading the room is worse. And I totally agree with you. I think that going around and meeting people as you're there works out well too. Talking to the person who brought you there, at least say hello. I mean, that's the least you can do. At least let them know that you were there.
Yes.
And I think being in a room and not people knowing that you're there was no need for you to go. I know that sometimes we all go places and we don't really speak a lot because I'm good for reading rooms. I can sit in a room, I can sit in a coffee shop all day long and don't say nothing to nobody. But if I was trying to be impactful, I have to speak to somebody because if I'm trying to do business, they got to be able to know I'm in the building.
Yeah, and then like worst case scenario with that, you know, social media is becoming this mainstream thing. So you gotta be in a picture, and you put hashtag and whatever name the event is at least. So when someone puts that hashtag, you see a picture of you wearing your business attire or on your website. So that's at least a small thing that you gotta do just for getting your name and your brand out there.
So what would you like to tell the people before we go and move on to the rest of the podcast about cool people?
So Coolview, we're a residential and commercial window tinting business. We offer solutions for whatever you need, whether it's dark tint, clear tint, graphic tint. Uh, we we offer it all, and if we don't offer it, we know someone that can give you the right solution that you need. And we've been pretty much going strong for a little bit over a year now. I've been doing this for about 2 to 3 years, working with other partners, and we're just excited to be in the community where ready to help in any way. And even if I don't sell you something, if I can give you some knowledge on how to reduce your heat, how to drop the UV, and to prevent fading, just give me a call. My number is 912-742-5324. That's my business line. Or you can also reach me at www.coolviewsavannah-hh.com.
Nice. So we talked about all the different things about business meetings and going into them. No one's perfect. It's going to have to be a uphill battle every time. It's fun because it gives you an opportunity to talk to new people all the time, different cultures, different. Man, you go to these business meetings and meet and greets, everybody's there. I mean, some of everybody, every different businesses you interact with. Some business you didn't even know that was existing in your community. So that helps a whole lot. And then you build some things as you never know. You might run into these people again and they say, hey, remember me? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And it may not even be based on business. It's just a friendship you just built. So we definitely went over everything that we were supposed to talk about with this thing. So is there any bonus questions you want to ask that for the group, for the things that could?
Bonus question.
I got one for you.
Go ahead.
What is one thing that you lied about to yourself or individual, more so yourself, that you regret? And I'll go first for me.
Okay.
I used to lie and think that everything will be okay. Like, and sometimes it ain't. You can't fix everything. I'm one of those ones that like to fix things and you can't fix everything. And I had to tell myself sometimes that you can't fix everyone in every situation. So that was one of those things I had to learn, and I'm maturing a lot more on a daily basis.
Let's see. One thing that I lied about, I guess at the very beginning, started off really slow, and one of my mentors was like, "Hey, how's everything going?" And I'm like, "Oh, everything's great. We're getting after it. We are, you know, shaking and moving. We're doing this and that." And things were stagnant. And that individual knew things were stagnant, and they were just waiting for me to come up to them like, "Hey, I need some help." But I felt there was more pride to go to that individual, even though I know he was my mentor. So after a while, I was like, "Hey, I really need some help," and that allowed me to look at things from different perspectives and to move in a different direction, and it helped me progress and grow from there.
It works. Got any more?
Yep, that's it.
All right. This is us. Out. Anthony, signing off. See, that was an easy subject, but we ain't talking about. We did all the points.